And we're live. We're back.
But
I'm Daftjack, and he's
Not
Ragingdevils.
Ragingdevils.
And here we are with the Unholy Tree. Unholy is the first spec I ever played for Deathknight, way back when Deathknights were brand new. Because I thought it was going to be the closest thing to a necromancer in the game, and it is the closest thing to a necromancer so far. Coming over from Diablo 2. I really wanted to play a necromancer, and didn't get to because the warlock wasn't. Holy DK really isn't a necromancer. I mean, he's kind of a necromancer, but not in the same way that a
Yeah,
necromancer is in
and
Diablo
I'm
2.
dead. And Unholy was my last pick to play because it was close to Necromancer. Well, close to Necromancer, and Warcraft wise, it felt close to an Affliction Warlock. So it was my last pick to play after Blood. But I played it in MOP, and it turned out pretty good
Um,
later on.
I really liked the Unholy quest in Legion. Like that whole quest chain was really cool. The Death Knight as well was really fun. Just in general. Also, it's green, and I'm
And
drawn to green things.
I like to spread curses and diseases.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I want to touch on my hopes for this tree is I hope to see a ranged Unholy build. We almost had it in Legion, where you could like change a bunch of stuff and use certain talents and use almost all of your abilities could be range. I think except for one. Um, and that was cool, but I'd like to see that happen in here. That'd be really fun. A plate caster. We don't have any of those. All right, start
Okay.
with Festering Strike. 2 runes plus minus 20 rune power, melee instant cast. Strikes for 116% attack power, physical damage, and infects the target with 2 to 3 festering wounds. Festering wounds, a persistent lesion that will burst on death or when damaged by Scourge Strike, dealing 23% attack power, shadow damage, and generating 3 runic power. Moving on down, we got Scourge Strike. Scourge Strike, 1 rune, minus 10 rune power, melee range, instant cast, and Unholy Strike that deals 41.4% of attack power, physical damage, and 22.8% attack power, shadow damage, and causes 1 festering wound to burst. Outbreak. Wow, there's a lot of active abilities in the beginning of this tree here. 1 rune, right? Well, I mean, they got all the curses and stuff, or diseases.
And pets.
Yeah. 1 rune slash negative 10 rune power, 30-yard range, instant cast. Deals 10% attack power shadow damage to the target and inflicts all nearby enemies with Virulent Plague. Virulent Plague, a disease that deals 112.5% attack power shadow damage over 27 seconds. It erupts when inflicted. Target dies, dealing 24% of attack power shadow damage to nearby enemies. Next, we have Unholy Blight. 1 rune slash negative 10 rune power, 45-second cooldown, instant cast. Surrounds yourself with a vile swarm of insects for 6 seconds. Stinging all nearby enemies and infecting them with virulent plague and unholy disease that deals 47.8, 32% attack power damage over 14 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. Wait, is that different from the other virulent plague? Yeah, it's a different plague with the same name. Cool. Inside on this side of the tree, we have Improve Festering Strikes. Festering Strike and Festering Wounds. Damage increased by 10%.
Up to 20.
Moving on down, we have Festering Strikes. Festering Strikes has a 15% chance to generate 1 rune. Then we have Replenishing Wounds. When Festering Wounds pops, it generates 2 additional runic power. Epidemic. 30 runic power, 30-yard range, instant cast. Causes each of your virulent plagues to flare up, dealing 24% attack power shadow damage to the afflicted enemy, and an additional 9.6% attack power shadow damage to all other enemies near them. Dark Agony or Eternal Agony, increase the duration of Dark Transformation by 1 second. Moving on down, we got Persistent Pestilence. Bursting a festering wound has a 10% chance to grant you runic consumption or corruption. Bursting Spores or Ebony Fever. Or not Ebony, Ebon.
Ebon Fever.
Ebon Fever. Bursting Spores. Bursting a festering wound deals 25% more damage and deals 20% of attack power shadow damage to all nearby enemies. Deals reduced damage beyond 8 targets. Ebon Fever. Virulent Plague deals 15% more damage over time in half of the duration. So this is just your single target, multi-target option. I'm probably going to go with Bursting Spores because
I'll probably do the Fever.
Yeah.
Faster dots, may as well.
Yeah, I think Bursting Spores is going to be better in group content, though. You have more stuff to hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I still like my curses, or diseases.
Alright. Unholy Command. The cooldown of Dark Transformation is reduced by 8 seconds.
To 15.
Eternal Agony. Death Coil and Epidemic increase the duration of Dark Transformation by 1 second. Pestilence. Death and Decay damage has a 10% chance to apply festering wounds to enemies. Bile Corruption. 30 runic power, 30-yard range, instant cast, 1.5 minute cooldown. Inflict diseases upon your enemies, spreading festering wounds equal to the amount currently active on your targets to 8 nearby enemies. Then we have Death Rot. Death Coil and Epidemic debilitate your enemy, applying Death Rot, causing them to take 1% increased shadow damage, up to 10% for 10 seconds. If Death Coil or Epidemic consume Sudden Doom, it applies 2 stacks of Death Rot. Ooh. Festering Might. Popping a festering wound increases your strength by 1% for 20 seconds. Stacking does not refresh the duration.
And that's 2.
How many does it stack to?
Strength by 2%.
Yeah, no, but it says stacking. How many times can you stack this to?
It's infinite stacking.
Oh, it's infinite stacking. It just doesn't refresh though. As
Yeah,
high
because
as
it
you
does
can
not
get it in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's kind of cool. I like that because then the duration kind of checks your ability to proc it.
Yep.
Unholy Assault. Melee range, instant. 1.5 minute cooldown. Strike your target dealing 127.6% attack power, shadow damage, inflicting the target with 4 festering wounds and sending you into Unholy Frenzy, increasing your haste by 20% for 20 seconds. Okay. So this is like all about the buffs. What do we
Yep, there's
got
your
here?
bloodlust.
In the middle, Bloodlust.
I said there's your bloodlust.
Oh yeah, that is a personal bloodlust, isn't it?
For 1.5 minute cooldown.
That's not bad. I likes it. Apocalypse. Melee range, 1.5 minute cooldown, instant cast. Bring doom upon the enemy. Sorry, I said that wrong. Bring doom upon the enemy. Dealing 50% of attack power, shadow damage, and bursting up to 4 festering wounds on the target. Summons an army of the dead ghoul for 15 seconds for each burst festering wound. Generates 4 runes. So it summons 4 ghouls.
Yep, up to 4 ghouls.
Assuming you have 4 wounds on the target to burst.
Which comes from the festering strike. So yep.
So pro tip, you're gonna want to have 4 wounds on the target before you pop this, regardless of the cooldown.
Yep.
Magus of the Dead versus Rapture of Viscera?
Ruptured Viscera. Yeah.
Viscera. We'll go with Viscera. I like yours better. Magnus of the Dead, Apocalypse, and Army of the Dead also summon Magnus of the Dead, who hurls frost bolts and shadow bolts at your foes. Ruptured Viscerius. When your ghouls expire, they explode in Viscera. Ruptured Viscera. Dealing 24% attack power, shadow damage to nearby enemies. So I'm gonna go with Magnus of the Dead because that's a 4th summon to add to Apocalypse, and I haven't
Yeah.
read Army yet, so we'll have to go find that and remember to add this to it.
Yep, and there's your Necro summoning. Instead of summoning warriors, you get summon mages.
Yeah, summon mage. Summon mage officially in World of Warcraft. Good to
Boom,
go.
boom.
Moving down. Oh, here's
Here's
Army of
your
the Dead. Summon a
There you
legion
go.
of ghouls who swarm your enemies, fighting anything they can for 30 seconds. 1 rune, minus 10 rune power, 8-minute cooldown. Oof. How many ghouls is this?
8-minute cooldown. You'll see.
Testing incoming. Ghoulish
Cooldown.
Frenzy. Huh?
Army of the Damned.
Army of the Damned. Oh, that's in the middle.
Down there.
Yeah, we're going to go do the Ghoulish Frenzy first. Dark Transformation also increases the attack speed and damage of you and your monstrosities by 6%. I like that, monstrosities. Army
Up
of
to
the
12.
Damned. Apocalypse's cooldown is reduced by 45 seconds. Additionally, Death Coil's cooldown is reduced. Death Coil reduces the cooldown of Army of the Dead by 5 seconds. If you have Epidemic, Epidemic also reduces the cooldown of Army of the Dead by 5 seconds. That's cool. There's that CDR you want for that 8-minute cooldown. What we got over here? We got morbidity. Decrease enemies or diseased enemies take 1% increased damage from you per disease they are inflicted by. How many diseases do we got?
And that goes up to 2.
Okay, and then super strain. The Virulent Plague also applies Frost, Fever, and Blood Plague. Oh, Virulent Plague, which is the... So Outbreak, which is the instant cast ranged ability, allows you to... So it's Scourge Strike is the ability that you need to make ranged, to make the build work for ranged. Hopefully that happens in here. I believe it was Scourge Strike that we changed into another ability that makes it ranged.
And now we got to see on the right side where the other ones come from.
And then it was Festering Strike that I wanted to make ranged, but never could. So now we'll go down this other side, and hopefully I'll find my casty abilities. Raise Dead. 30-yard range, instant cast. Why does it have a 30-yard range? 30-second cooldown, raise Sludge Belcher or raises an Abomination or Geist or Ghoul, depending on your glyph, to fight by your side. You can have a maximum of 1 Abomination, Geist, or Ghoul at a time. Based on your glyph. Dark Transformation. Instant 1-minute cooldown. Your, depending on glyph, Abomination, Geist, or Ghoul deal 44.73% attack power shadow damage to 5 nearby enemies and transform into a powerful undead monstrosity for 15 seconds. Granting them 100% energy and the, depending on glyph, Abomination, Geist, or Ghoul abilities are empowered and take on new functions while transform is active. Runic Mastery. Increase your maximum runic power by 10%. I did it again. By 10. Not percent. Just 10.
Up to 20.
I did that when I read that yesterday.
Yeah. Alright, Infected Claws.
Infected Claws. Your Abomination's Cleaver, Ghoul's Claws, attack has a 30% chance to cause a festering wound on the target. More wounds. This feels like it's going to be more of the pet build. All will serve. Your Raise Dead spell summons an additional skeleton minion. Ooh, so that means you get a whatever you glyph for plus a skeleton.
It's that mini skeleton, I think.
Yeah,
I think they had that already in Shadowlands too.
Yeah, I think I've seen it in Shadowlands. It's probably tied to a covenant, though. I think it's part of the Maldraxxus one.
It says level 15, so I think it's that level 15 first row.
Oh, it might be a talent. Yeah, I haven't played him in this last expansion.
I touched him slightly, but not much. But yeah, Sun Doom.
Mythic rating in Battle for Azeroth killed my alts. It really did. Sudden Doom. Your auto attack have a chance to make your next Death Coil or Epidemic cost no runic power. Choose one. Clawing Shadows or Plaguebringer replaces Scourge Strike. 1 rune / 10 runic power, 30-yard range, instant cast, deals 55% attack power shadow damage and causes 1 festering wound to burst. Plaguebringer, Scourge Strike causes your disease damage to occur 100% more quickly. And I'm going to pick Clawing Shadows because that's the one that I always pick because I want to be a plate caster. What about you, Devil? You want your diseases to tick down faster?
Yeah.
Yeah. Figured.
Yeah, I was looking. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
First strike causes your disease damage. Yeah, and I'm more of a medium melee fighter anyways. We'll see.
Improved Death Coil. Death Coil deals 15% additional damage to seek out 1 additional nearby enemy. So, like,
30.
Okay, so when you shoot it, does it shoot 2 of them? Or does it bounce off the target and hit another one?
deal 30% more damage and seeks out one additional nearby enemy. So I assume once it hits one enemy, it will seek out another enemy like a bouncing bolt.
Yeah, I'm thinking it does the bounce.
Yeah.
Either that or they suddenly learn how to shoot one out of both hands. Which is cool. I'm down for that.
It could end up like how the Iceland splitting ice works. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, like that. Rotten Touch.
Yeah.
Sudden Doom causes your next death coil to also increase your Clawing Shadows, Scourge Strike damage. Oh, you got an Echo Devil. Against the target by 30% for 6 seconds. Alright, we got another choose one. Unholy Pack or Defile. I feel like this is going to be a good choice. Oh, I got to scroll down to read all of it. Alright, Unholy Pack. Dark Transformation creates an unholy pact between you and your pet. Igniting flame chains that deal 15% attack power plus 15 shadow damage over 15 seconds to the enemy between you and your pet. While active, your strength is increased by 5%. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, that's the thing that makes the laser between you and your pet. Defile replaces Death and Decay, 1 rune, / -10 runic power, 30-yard range, instant cast, 20-second recharge, 1 charges. Defile the target, or the targeted ground, dealing 5% attack power, math, shadow damage, to all enemies over 10 seconds. While you remain within Defile, your Clawing Shadows or Scourge Strikes will hit 7 enemies near the target. If any enemies are standing in Defile, it will grow in size and deal increased damage every second. Oh, I'm picking Defile.
Yeah, this Defile does a lot better.
Reaping. Your Soul Reaper, Scourge Strike, and Festering Strike, and Death Coil deal 20% additional damage to enemies below 35% health. Harbinging. Yeah. What?
Yes, the execute talent.
Yeah. Harbinging of Doom. Sudden Doom triggers 15% more often and can accumulate 2 charges. Ooh, baby. Coil of Devastation. Death Coil causes your target to take an additional 35% direct damage, dealing damage over 4 seconds. Then we have the Summon Gargoyle. 30-yard range, instant, 3-minute cooldown, summons a gargoyle into the area to bombard the target for 25 seconds. The gargoyle gains 1% increased damage for every runic power you spend. Generates 50 runic power. Get ready to spam.
Boom.
Unholy Aura. All enemies within 8 yards take 10% increased damage from your minions. And
that's
then 20, nice. Commander of the Dead. Dark Transformation also empowers your Dark Abater, Gargoyle, and Army of the Dead for 30 seconds, increasing their damage. Oh, but it's not going to increase the damage of your mages? Or did we forget the mages?
Yeah, it's not going to do your magus. It doesn't look like.
Why not? I'm going to build this pet build. It's going to be so much fun. I'm excited for this, although I have some concerns because, like, I want to build this range build, and I feel like it's not not completely supported in the way that I want it to be. Um,
Yeah,
we'll
because your
see.
generator, your festering strike isn't ranged, or else it would be nice.
Yeah, is it a generator though?
That's the generator you need to start your runic power and your festering runes. So
Yeah, it does. Like if you could just make Festering Strike ranged, that'd be great. Like absolutely great. Give me the
if you
option
can make
for it.
defile count your festering strike as a range, then that would be nice. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if they could bake that into Defile. What they should bake that into is Clawing Shadows. And then buff or just give us another choose one with the same option that we have for Clawing Shadows and Plague Bringer for Festering Strikes and our other melee abilities, so that we can be the plate caster that I've always dreamt about. Um, but all in all, this seems pretty good. I'm excited for this pet build. It looks like we're getting a lot of fun pets. So at the
oh yeah,
very
this is
least,
gonna be awesome.
that'll be more fulfilling.
Nice pet build, got a nice speed build, got a nice disease build. Gonna love that.
Yeah. Uh, this does make me wish that in the base tree that the like death grip stuff was under death strike, and the anti magic zone stuff was more over under that. But I'll have to see. I'll have to
Mm-hmm.
see how I do this.
Alrighty.
This is probably going to be like one of the most fun builds I'm going to make. But yeah, that's the end of the unholy tree. So anything you got, Devil?
No, then what I said, the disease build and the thing build, that's gonna be nice to try out. So
Alrighty, we'll catch you with the other trees later.